Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Steve Leary, Assistant to Mayor Kokoris. We're here with representatives from the town of Braintree and Mass DOT. I do just wanted to turn it over to Mayor Kokoris just for some introductory remarks. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Stephen. And thank you to Mass DOT and all your hard work. This is something that has been done very quickly by your staff, and I want to thank you for sticking to the schedule and shortening the time so that we can get this this intersection made safe. And it's from looking at the plans, and as you're going to present, I think you've done your due diligence in making sure that we've met the safety measures necessary for this intersection, and it will be a great improvement. And on behalf of the town of Braintree as mayor, I just want to thank each and every one of you for the hard work you put in, and also my engineering and DPW staff for the work that they've done. And with that, I would turn it over to you at the DOT to give your presentation. And once again, thank you.
Hello, thank you, Mayor Kokoris, for hosting us this evening. My name is Erin Kinahan, and I am the Acting Project Development Engineer for District 6. With me, with MassDOT representatives Raj Kulin and Emil Varazov from our traffic section, and Brian Levine from our district project section. Today, I will give a brief presentation on the Washington Street Route 37 at South Street intersection improvement project and discuss various aspects of the project, including the project background, the project goals and purpose, traffic impacts, pedestrian bike transit impacts, our construction methods, and give time for a question and answer. Project background, how did we get here? Prior to 2020, we were aware of the existing operational safety and accessibility concerns for all users at this intersection. Discussions between MassDOT and the town of Braintree regarding safety improvements began in the fall of 2020 with the design conducted over the spring and summer of 2021. And hopefully this fall we will begin construction of improvements with new geometry and traffic signal installation. Why was the project initiated? This project is a result of operation concerns that have been at the town of Braintree for several years, as well as the desire to provide pedestrian accessibility improvements. Project purpose will include operational and traffic concerns, safety issues, and accessibility concerns. What will be implemented? This is a graphical representation of the intersection improvements that we are proposing. Project improvements will include installation of a new traffic signal and ADA compliant pedestrian curb ramps. The project will also provide 2 dedicated signalized crosswalks across Washington Street, as well as a signalized crosswalk across South Street with a median island. Improved conditions, pavement markings, and signage for bicyclists within the vicinity of South Street. And this project will result in improved accessibility for transit users with improved visibility of transit stops. Geometric modifications along South Street approach will improve the overall safety of the intersection, and the existing pavement will be resurfaced with new pavement markings, and we will install new signage. The proposed improvements will be constructed within the existing right-of-way, and no takings will be required for this project. How will the road user be affected? First of all, the traffic impacts will be that the new traffic signal will be built with emergency vehicle preemption. Vehicles from South Street will no longer need to wait for gaps in traffic along Route 37 in order to make a turn. However, Washington Street traffic will no longer have free movement through the intersection and will be required to stop on a red. Tightened intersection geometry will help reduce operational motor vehicle speeds, and the installation of new traffic signage should reduce driver confusion at this location. There will also be pedestrian, bicycle, and transit impacts. These will include signalized crosswalks that will be provided along the approaches of the intersection. Newly constructed ADA compliant pedestrian curb ramps will also be provided, and there will be proposed bike lanes along the project lane on Washington Street within the limits of work. Relocating bus stops to make them ADA compliant, and the signal will also include transit priority for MBTA buses. What is the construction approach? MassDOT will begin work in the fall of 2021. Limited nighttime work is anticipated. Some daytime lane closures will be expected, and there will be increased traffic delay throughout the construction period. And at this time, we are available to answer any questions that you may have regarding this project.
Great, thank you, Aaron. So I just do want to mention we have with us from the town of Braintree, Jim Arsenal, DPW Director, and John Thompson, Assistant DPW Director and Town Engineer. So at this point, we will open it up to questions and answers. Any public comment, please use the raise hand feature, or you can also submit any questions into the chat. I just want to make note that this webinar is being recorded. So we'll also be available on the town website at braintreema.gov and on the town's YouTube page too. So with that being said, if there are any questions, please raise your hand or put them in the chat now. I do see one hand raised. Bruce Parks. Bruce, if you unmute yourself, you should be able to speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just a few questions. I'm on Milton Road, right, third house in on the left. Just curious, you say the estimated work is going to be starting in the fall, but what is the estimated duration and period? So that's the first one. As well as, is there any plan to have like a dedicated left turn from Washington taking a left onto South, or will they both, what is it, north and south, have just a green light? And then are those lights going to be timed all the time? So like at 2 in the morning, it's, you know, you're still at the whim, or will it be in some sort of a flashing mode during rush hour time?
Okay. Yeah, this is Raj. I could answer these things. So there won't be any dedicated left turn lane because we're trying to do things within the right of way, not to impact any right of way taking and other things. So there won't be any dedicated left turn lane. And the second question you ask whether it will be in a stop and go at night. Yes, the MUTCD doesn't allow the flashing operation at night anymore. So it will be, but we'll have a detection. So it, it will. There won't be any delay. I mean, of course, the main line will be green all the time or most of the time, and then somebody pull in, then they will get a minimum green and they will go. So it will be fully actuated intersection. So we'll have a detection all approaches. And then there was another question. I'm sorry, what was the third question?
The third question was just the time frame on this project. How long is it expected to last, and when it's going to be finished?
Yeah, so we are expecting to start as soon as we get the okay, from here. So that means, it could be, say in the early October or middle of October, first we'll put the foundation and do the conduits, and we're trying to get everything is done by end of this year, before Christmas. That is a hope, and unless there is a weather issues and other things comes into play, then it could go into spring. But we like to get this done by end of this year. If we could all do the foundations and all the all weather related stuff now, before say November, we could do the other things. Even if it passed December, we could always do the winter works, the connecting the wires and other stuff. So we are hoping to start as soon as possible, and then hoping the end probably in the spring 2021, if any other reason this project get delayed. Otherwise, we're expecting to get it done by end of this year.
Great. Okay, thank you for your questions, Bruce. I do see that we had a few questions coming through the chat. Has the impact of traffic exiting Milton Road been evaluated? John, to my knowledge, I don't think a study has been done on traffic exiting Milton Road specifically.
Yeah, and Raj, maybe you can weigh in on this. I would expect, based on the analysis that you folks have done, that you do expect some queuing in the peak hours. So maybe you could touch on that a little bit, Raj.
Yeah, we're expecting the queue on obviously on Washington Street. They're doing the AM and PM peak hour. AM of course in the morning, going in towards Braintree, town, and the afternoon the other direction, southbound. We did not actually look at the Milton Street intersection operations, but we could. I don't know. Emil, did we look at anything here?
No, we have not analyzed Milton Street, but the queue is expected to be longer than Milton Street. So there will be queue that we maybe will have to put on do not block intersection, so people can make a left turn from Milton, and the right turn also will be easier.
Okay, so we could, but Emil is saying is that we should put a do not block intersection marking at the intersection to help so ease the people to get out of it and put the signs.
Great. So the next question was from Lisa. I think similar to a previous question, will a stop along Route 37 be triggered by cars waiting to exit South Street? And I think you did confirm that, Raj, that it will. So I'll move on to the next question from Siobhan. She has a major concern for the traffic this will bring into the neighborhood, not only when construction, but after when the light is installed. So just for clarification, I believe Siobhan is probably referring to the neighborhood off of Washington Street where Milton Road is. I believe that would be the neighborhood she's referring to, but if you can just confirm that, Siobhan, in the chat, that would be greatly appreciated. Yep, Bradford Road, Milton Road. So concerns with neighborhood traffic. John,
Yeah, Steve, I could weigh in a little bit on this. So, you know, when I'm looking at this, and maybe MassDOT could confirm, but my sense is that the operation of the traffic lights is not going to be such that it's going to actually drive cars to use the neighborhood. I don't think that's a quicker option. There's really no easy way around to bypass this intersection. Furthermore, I will say that one thing I have noticed that I think will actually improve is I've actually noticed a fair amount of people using South Street, particularly in the peak hours, that are trying to exit South Street rather than make, you know, right now I think long queues develop on South Street trying to make a left, because that's a really difficult movement to make, particularly in peak hours. So what I've observed cars doing instead is they'll use the right lane to exit South Street. They'll make a quick right onto Washington Street and then a quick left to Milton, to Milton Road, basically to, you know, to avoid having to wait in a long queue on South Street. And so I think by virtue of having, you know, now a protected phase for South Street to exit onto Washington Street, it will actually it may actually improve that situation and prevent some cut-through traffic.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, if that is the observation you had, yes, you know, that no longer you need that movement, because you are protected to make a left turn, and I believe the level of service on South Street, it's I think A or B or something like that, so it should get the move. And other question you ask, whether somebody on Washington Street northbound, because they don't want to stay in the queue, go around the thing. So obviously when they come around here, obviously that they'll be in the queue. So I don't think that's going to help them. I think we didn't look at the travel time thing, but I don't think that anybody's going to do this one. Probably they will lose time rather than gain.
And then in addition to that, John, I think I might just add that, moving forward, we can keep this on the radar for the Traffic Advisory and Safety Committee, just to see if there are any, mitigation efforts with traffic or speeding or anything of that nature that we can look into after the signal has been installed. I think that we could definitely look into that as well.
Of course, Steve, that's a good point. And I've worked with MassDOT many times in the past as well. And they're always great to work with. And obviously, if, when the signal's up and running, if there are issues that, we can diagnose and correct, they're always more than amenable to that. So we have those options as well.
I agree.
Great. So just turning back to the chat, it just seems that people are in agreement with what you stated, John, about cars turning right on Washington and left onto Milton to avoid the queue on South Street. So they believe that the light will also help alleviate that. And then also another instance of cars taking right onto South Street and then left onto Milton and make a U-turn to go back out onto Milton and take the right. So I think people are seeing the same things as you, John, and as you stated. So I hope that this light will help alleviate that. Just another question from the chat is, will it be difficult to exit Milton Road and then left onto South Street? And I don't want to overstep, Raj, but I believe you had mentioned that we might have to do some striping at that intersection to not block that intersection at Milton and Washington.
Yes, that's correct. So we that's one of the thing. And the left turn, I think based on the numbers, I think I don't have in front of me. I think it's about 100 people actually making a left turn. They will find a gap to make a left turn from Washington Street northbound to South Street. and we have enough room to people to bypass. So although it is marked as a bike lane there, but you have enough room more than I think the total width is more than 16, 17 feet. So you're able to bypass that. People who are staying to make a left turn, people would able to bypass. They don't have to wait for the signal. I mean, they don't have to wait for the left turn to clear.
Thank you, Raj. And lastly, I do just see one more comment from Siobhan. Absolutely, we will certainly keep Bradford Road on our radar, and we'll certainly look at it, after the signal has been installed as well, to see if there's any mitigation the Traffic Advisory and Safety Committee can help alleviate. And with that, I don't see any other questions or hands raised. So with that, I would just, if anybody does have any additional questions or comments or knows somebody that would like to reach out, they can certainly email the mayor's office at mayorsoffice@braintreema.gov or call us at 781-794-8100. I do see one last comment from Phil Y. I assume that because of the low numbers of vehicles turning left from Milton Road, that a set of lights for that intersection is too expensive.
I can jump in on that, Steve.
Okay,
yeah, just with the it basically a traffic signal would not be allowable, would not be warranted at that location with the with the volume with the volume of traffic on Milton and with the proximity to the proposed signal. So unfortunately not an option.
Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining us this evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, representatives of Mass DOT. Thank you, John. Thank you, Jim. Like I said, this meeting is being recorded. It'll be on the website. Additionally, we will have a copy of Mass DOT's PowerPoint on the website as well at braintreema.gov. And any questions can be directed to the mayor's office at mayorsoffice@braintreema.gov or 781-794-8100. Once again, thank you all this evening for joining us, and take care. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.